I thought I'd do a personal trip report horror story, since I haven't done one since the Hawaiian baby wood roast one last year. If you're new or you watch my videos without subscribing, please subscribe. You can really help a brother out. The more views I get, the more effort I'm going to put into the next video, and I don't think any of you want piss poor content. Alright, so this was my near psychosis diphenhydramine trip, and no, I haven't done this drug since, and I never will. The story starts off on a normal to average day hanging out with a friend we'll call Jay. This trip happened over 3 years ago, so I'm not going to remember some of the parts, and I'm definitely not going to remember the parts I didn't remember at the time. This was at a time I was addicted to a nootropic called phenibut, which if you take in moderation can help anxiety and boost your mood. Well, like an addict, I overdid this drug and was doing 6 to 8 grams every time I did it, and this was about 3 times a week. When you use phenibut, you're only supposed to do like a half gram to a gram, maybe up to 2 at the most. But like I said, I was addicted. I started to drink the phenibut, which I ended up enjoying the taste of after a while. It does not taste good, by the way, but for some reason, I didn't mind. We were just chilling while I was drinking it, and we were wondering what we were going to do. And I thought it would be a good idea to drive out to Geneva, which was about a 30-minute drive. And Geneva has a nice downtown area and this whole huge stretch of activities, shops, restaurants, and more on the lake. Kind of like a little tourist attraction area and fun stuff to do for the kids. Been going there since I was born. Anyway, we get into the car and I'm not high at all yet because phenibut takes a little to kick in, and so my dumbass said grab your diphenhydramine. At the time, I was taking a lot of that too. I've never combined the two, but I thought it was a good idea to do it that day, but I should have never combined them. I don't even know how much diphenhydramine I took, but I knew it was a lot. Before we got onto the freeway, I went into the gas station to grab a couple tall boys of beer, and yes, I drank one on the way there. Before you utter your distaste for me driving under the influence, I was 19 years old and a stupid fucking kid. My friends and I always drove under the influence of alcohol or whatever substance we were on, and we never got into an accident, so we thought we were invincible. Being 22 now, I haven't driven under the influence since this incident. Maybe a couple beers or two, but that doesn't even make me tipsy. So yes, I know I was wrong, but like I said, I was stupid. I'm getting paranoid and cringing just typing this right now. As I'm driving, I'm drinking the tall boy, and the drugs start to hit me. Also, mixing phenibut with alcohol is very dangerous too, so please don't mix them or any drugs together. I'm lucky to be alive from my stupidity. We're listening to this one song called Hours by the band Tycho, and if you don't know the song, it's just like a really ambient and psychedelic tune that always calms me down. As I was listening, I was looking at all the road signs that were passing, and the song represented time as we were getting closer and closer to where we wanted to go. My friend asked me like 10 times on the way there how I was feeling, and I always said, good, with a little chuckle after. Up to this point, I thought I was going to be fine driving the rest of the way. But after we got off the exit was when I started swerving. It was such a deserted road, and the speed limit was only 25 miles an hour, so there was never a worry in my mind that I was going to hit someone. I shit you not though, I really could not drive. Driving under the influence of these 3 things mixed together is a million times harder than to drive on just alcohol or each other substance separately. Luckily, we were close to the downtown area, and I surprisingly parked in a spot I probably could not even see. We get out, and I don't remember anything from walking around the area. What I do remember is when we got back to the car. A couple was waiting by the front of our car, and he started yelling at me because apparently my front hit their car when I parked it. But we looked at it, and my car was not even touching theirs. My friend can attest to that I did not hit it. The only thing I can think of is that they backed the car up a little bit before we got back, but other than that, I have no idea. So they walked away after that, and I got a sigh of relief because I thought they were going to call the police or something. I didn't have car insurance with this car because I was a poor fucking bastard who grew up in a Section 8 apartment complex and grew up on food stamps, but luckily had a caring mother. I bought the car for $1,200 with the money I got from financial aid for college. I don't want to make a sob story here because there's definitely people out there who had it way worse than me, but I definitely wasn't anywhere near middle class. So not getting pulled over for driving almost 2 years in that Buick uninsured really could have fucked me over if I ever got a ticket. Back to the story. I had my friend drive the rest of the way to the lake area, and that was probably the smartest decision I made all day. When we got to the lakefront, I remember it being really hot, but I don't think it was super hot. I think the drugs made me feel hotter than it actually was. The only thing I remember from walking around was me complaining about the heat. I had no sense of time there, so I don't even know how long we were there for. So after however long, we left. I also don't remember any of the drive back to our hometown, but I do remember going to a grocery store and getting more beers. My friend was getting real concerned with me because I was babbling nonsense to him, and he thought I was going through psychosis, which I probably was. The next thing I remember was going back to his house, and apparently I had eaten toothpaste. I did not believe him because why the fuck would I eat toothpaste? But I guess I did. After this whole day of being fucked up, I still haven't come down in the slightest, and no, I did not see any hallucinations or anything, or at least that I can remember. But it was getting to be around 4 to 5 p.m., and I needed to get home, and I really wanted him to drive me. But his dad was pissed at him because his dad was always in a bad mood. And so I had to drive myself home, and this was when the scariest thing that has ever happened to me occurred. As I was driving, I started to drift in and out of sleep. I do not know if I was swerving or not, but I probably did fall asleep for a few seconds. I had to go over a bridge to get back home, and I guess I was asleep, because the next thing I heard was a semi-truck. They honked their horn as loud as possible, and it sounded like it was coming from my passenger seat. I got bolstered back into reality when I realized where I was. I immediately got out of it. When I woke up from the diphenhydramine haze, it seriously looked like I was under the semi. I was in reality inches away from the huge tires that were bigger than my car. I saw the truck driver waving his hand to try to tell me to move, and boy, did I. I felt so humiliated and fearful at the same exact time. I could have got crushed by this 25,000-pound semi, driving over a bridge that probably would have caused a huge accident involving others, and killing me. I don't know what the people around me were doing because all I could focus on was how I nearly just cost myself my fucking life. I am so thankful that truck driver was vigilant and honked his horn so I could be here today typing this story and getting anxious just recollecting the events. After I got myself back into my lane, I drove with 2 hands on the wheel, eyes wide open, and not missing a beat. I remember the whole way back to my apartment. That honk made me feel like how you feel when you're falling in your dream and you're about to hit the ground, but wake up just in time. That's the best way I can describe it. When I thankfully got back to my apartment, I sat in my car for a couple minutes and started to cry. Even under the influence of all those drugs, I was the most sober I've ever been. It's like my brain canceled out all the effects for the last 20 minutes as a survival tactic for us to both come out of this alive. After letting my emotions out, I stumbled into my apartment and my mom was home, so I was a little worried that she would find out. But I've come home under the influence so many times that I knew how to get past her without making her suspicious. To end the worst experience of my life that I'm super embarrassed to even share with you all, there's something funny that happened. I went to go put on my basketball shorts to get comfortable, and it was a huge struggle. I got them on eventually, but I looked down and my underwear was over my shorts and my mom's back was turned, so she didn't see this. If she did, she definitely would have known I was on something. The last thing I remember from that day was falling asleep on the couch and thanking God that I got to live another day. This was by far the most horrifying experience I've ever had. Do not mix drugs together, especially the ones I did. The consequences can be severe and nearly fatal, or if you're unlucky, even kill you. I got super lucky that day, and I'm thankful for every day that I have on Earth. It was one of the biggest learning experiences I have ever had. If I can take anything positive from this trip, it would be that I'm a lot smarter now. I do not take drugs like that anymore, and I barely even drink. I do take kratom daily though, but that's not something terrible like the stuff I was taking. If you're ever thinking about taking drugs like I did, maybe think twice, because you may not be as lucky as I was. I don't want to tell you what or what not to do, but this experience definitely changed my life, and hopefully it will change yours. I see a lot of comments saying about how I'm showing drugs in a bad light, and that's not what I'm trying to do. This channel's purpose is to do horror-related drug content, and with all positives to drugs, there are also a lot of negatives. As long as you're smart about consumption, you'll be fine. But if you're a dumbass like I was, then you should stay away. Don't overdo it, and don't be stupid. Thank you all for listening to my story, and have a good day.